Christy Noem, this ad, I guess, aired during Fox and Friends recently.
I think today.
Today
or yesterday.
I mean, it looks like fascist propaganda because
It's straightforwardly what it is.
it is fascist propaganda, right? If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, Christy Noem will probably shoot it. Although maybe it's not furry and cute enough.
And you can shoot ducks.
You can.
It's horse girl propaganda too, which cracks me up.
Very true. It's weird how they're leaning into the frontiersman thing. Like, I mean, Matt, I would love your thoughts on this, but it's like the romanticization of this as we're, in the midst of a genocide that's funded by our country and motivated by colonialism. It feels particularly disgusting, but here she is, full cowgirl cosplay on a show starring Kevin Costner that everyone's parent likes, but makes me feel icky for some reason, and I can't put my finger on why. I think I solved some of it by watching this ad.
Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here. Not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Christy Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West, to the titans who built our cities, to the dreamers who chased the impossible, America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you. Break our laws, we'll punish you. Harm American citizens, there will be consequences. But if you come here the right way, your American dream can be as big as these endless skies. From President Trump and me, welcome home.
Welcome home. The largest growth in detentions, as tabulated by Austin Coker in the past few months, has been people with no criminal record. There's an ongoing lawsuit finding that the vast majority of arrests in Chicago, in general, have been people with no criminal records. 78% of the arrests are low risk, according to the government's own data that Austin put together in Chicago. And then in that raid on the apartment complex that was being neglected by a corporate landlord that seemed to be very much on board with this action against their own tenants to try to push them out, there were only like two, I believe, people, or you could fit it on one hand, who had a criminal record that were detained in that raid. So what is this protecting the homeland from? Because they'll talk about criminality, but what they genuinely mean is whiteness and a mythologizing of that whiteness and a Christian nationalism and a white nationalism that they meld together. For just like, I mean, that history, the way that it's romanticized is amazing. Like, yeah, from the land that we stole to the land that we built skyscrapers on top of it. You get to feel proud about it. Look at me in my cowboy hat.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's where she is the Black Hills, which was a big piece of land, very central to a number of different tribes, because it's, sticks out in the middle of a giant, prairie that you have all these mountains and sort of wooded areas. It's sort of spiritually significant. So when America decided, we're going to take all of this land after the Civil War, but we'll let you keep your holy mountains and everything like that, that lasted for like not quite a decade. And then Custer got out there and said, there's a lot of gold out there, so maybe we should just take it. And so there's a city in there literally called Custer where people started going because they were going to infiltrate it and take it over. And ultimately, that's what happened. The land that was supposed to be set aside through treaties for the natives was just taken because of not the freedom of like the individuals, but the basically bankers back east that wanted access to a whole bunch of new precious metal to play with. So, I mean, the frontier is significant in America in history just because for most of it, it was the outlet for class antagonism that Europe didn't have. So where the cities get a little bit too competitive and there's not enough to do with particularly like the excess male population, you tell them to go go colonize for you. And whereas Europe, you have to send them to like Africa or, I mean, Europe sent colonists everywhere. In America, you just send them a little bit west and, they put down the rail and all that money filters to the banks.
Right. I mean, that is really, I think, a uniqueness to the United States and also to Israel, where it's like the colonizing population too is so integral and living on the land and expanding it too, in the present, at least in the case of Israel. But it's just like it's you look at how Native Americans were treated in this country. The Trail of Tears is like the Nakba that is still ongoing, and the images we saw of the forced displacement in the Gaza Strip, the confinement camps, the internment camps for indigenous people, where you just look at images or how they were confined in that way, and they're literally just concentration camps. People
act like the Boer War was the first concentration camp. That's because there's white people,
right?
White colonizers in there. Look at the Dakota concentration camps in like 1863, I think it was, during the Civil War. It's the exact same sort of thing. It's just like right up against a river that used to be, again, it used to be their holy site, but now it's a concentration camp for them as we're about to ethnically cleanse Minnesota of native populations and move them out west. It's and the truth is that Israel and the who we know as Zionists now, they weren't the first Zionists. No. The first Zionists were the Americans who came here and said this is all ours because of the Bible.
Manifest Destiny, though.
Cotton Mather used the terms like Amalekites and all these different sort of biblical phrases that Zionists use for Palestinians and stuff like that. There's the exact same language being used from the exact same text. So there's nothing original about what's going on in Israel. Even the genocide, look at the Mystic Massacre in Connecticut for an early example of just the way that when Zionists, and that includes Cotton Mather to Bibi Netanyahu, when they get in the right mood, they will just kill women and children because the Bible said they can.
Manifest Destiny is just Zionism. We religiously edict. It's a religious edict to take our land, basically. That is how it's justified, and it's just more difficult to stomach right now for some people. This colonization process through genocide too, because it's being live streamed and people are seeing what it looked like back in the day, but it's happening right now in mass, just with technologically advanced weaponry.
Also, the long-term trend, and Republicans can try to blame this on Democrats for what they want, but all those sort of rural areas that are supposedly so good for freedom or whatever, they're hollowing out. Mm-hmm. And it's not just like reservations. It's reservations are going to be massively impacted by like these sorts of cuts and stuff like that. They're almost like always the first and most acutely impacted. But the entire sort of center of America, particularly when like the hospital cuts happen and stuff like that, is just dying. And it's not. And this is like a half a century trend.
Yep.
And the truth is because the only reason it was there in the first place is because of massive government action. The basically, like, you wouldn't have had any sort of major small towns in the Dakotas or in the plains if it wasn't for government support of things like rail or massive giveaways of land to help people settle it and that sort of stuff. And
the Homestead Act, I mean, that
exactly.
is basically essential to, like, giving, financially incentivizing that kind of settlement. And I mean, look at the West Bay.
And land grant universities, like the major sort of economic hub of most of these states are the blue cities that are around the universities that were, again, land grant universities by the like radical Republicans for a brief time in the 19th century. And we haven't done any of that. In fact, the Republicans are attacking that stuff. We are seeing Ross Perot talked about the big sucking sound of all the jobs leaving. Like we're in the middle. The train is still, it's just spinning faster and faster now, but the plug has been open for a long time.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.